Hi everybody. There is always such a rush of adrenaline when I do this. I don't know why. I always say, oh, I'm gonna be fine, I'm gonna pop on, I'm just gonna talk to a couple people. But then 2 seconds before, okay, let me fix this. I always get this crazy adrenaline rush. Oh my goodness. And of course something like that happens. Hold on, here we go. Okay. All right, well, it says I'm live. I hope I'm on. I don't see myself in the group there. I'm just fixing the camera so that, and closing my computer so that you don't see. Okay, well, I guess you're gonna see it anyway. Okay, so while we wait for a couple people to jump on here, I just wanted to let you know that we're going to be talking about the Epstein-Barr virus today. It seems to be a very controversial topic. I bring it up sometimes in groups and people get super angry. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. And oh, last week I talked about gluten and how to go gluten-free easily without turning your life upside down. And the information was all over the place. There was a lot of information. So if you would like it written out, I wrote it all out. I put little sections in there so you could put your own notes in. Just send me an email and I'll email it over to you. It's a PDF. It's not pretty. It's just the information in a PDF. But if you want it, my email address is gethealthy@mindingyoursoul.com. And if you want it, either put in the comment, like message me your email address or just send me an email to gethealthy@mindingyoursoul.com. Any other? Okay, so we talked about that. And all right, so every time I pop in here and do these lives, it's to teach you all the things that I did to heal. So this is what worked for me. I'm not saying that it works for everybody, but I know the few people that I have worked with, it is working for them. And if you go and you look at what Terry Walls is doing, she talks about the same thing, flooding your body with antioxidants. And there's a lot of different things involved in that. There's a whole wheel of different spokes that you need to pay attention to. So each week I try to do it in the order that I did it in, and to keep it simple for you. So if you can, go back and watch the videos in order. We did the liver one first and how to detox the liver every day using, its natural detoxing properties. And then we talked about gluten-free. Now today we're going to talk about Epstein-Barr. And this computer in my eyes is driving me nuts. So I think that's my iPad so I can see myself and read the comments as I go. Okay, cool. So I want to give you all a little background as to where I got started, the timeline before we get started on the Epstein-Barr. I was diagnosed in 2004 when my leg went numb. I went to the doctor, went to the neurologist, I got all the tests, the MRI, the lumbar, what is that called? The spinal tap, and the blood test. So in 2004, I was diagnosed. My son was 2 years old. He's 18 now. This has been a very long journey. In 2005, it was getting so bad that they said you have to go on the medication, but you can't have any more children if you do. And I thought, there's no way. I have to have my daughter. I'm just looking in the group here. Oh, here I am. So I wonder if I could see the comments as they pop up. Maybe I can. Okay, good. Oh, hi, Holly. Hi, Arden. Oh, turn the volume up. Okay, let me see what this does. Let me know if this is better. Does that seem to be working? Let me know if you all can hear me, because if I'm sitting here talking to myself, that'd be pretty funny. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Give me some comments. I'll talk louder too. Okay, so in 2005, it was getting so bad. They told me I had to go on medication. And they said, but you can't have any more children. So at that point, I decided to hurry up and have my daughter, and I did. I had her in 2006. 3 months after that, the MRI was so bad, they said you have to get on medication because your immune system is attacking your optic nerve, and if it moves and eats through the optic nerve, the myelin coating. Oh, I hear you. Thanks, Holly. Thank you. I was wondering if I'm talking to anybody. I don't need this thing because that's just messing me up. Okay. So what I did was I started the beta-serone, and I was on that for a year. That's a shot every other day. And I just kept getting progressively worse until 2008. I was completely paralyzed in my arms and in my legs. And I always make the same joke. Can you imagine an Italian person not being able to use her arms? Yeah, so I was paralyzed. And it wasn't until my daughter fell in front of me. My husband at the time had left me alone with my 2-year-old daughter while I was paralyzed. And he was just running to 7-Eleven, which is literally right up the block. He said, "Don't worry, I'll be right back." And she was sitting on a blanket in front of me, and she was just playing. And she was such a good kid. She probably wasn't going to get up. So I'm like, all right, just hurry up back. So he's not even out of the driveway. And she gets up to show me a toy. And of course she falls. She trips on the carpet. She hits her head on the coffee table, and you know, the big lump where they start screaming, or they open their mouth to scream and no sound comes out until they catch their breath. That's what happened, and I couldn't get to her. I tried to inch my way down off of the chair and roll over to her, and she finally got over to me and wrapped her little arms around my neck and just cried. And that was the moment that everything changed for me. Something inside me snapped and said, that's it, I'm done. I have to find a way to heal. I have to find a way to be a mother, because I always wanted to be a mother. That was my purpose in life, was to have kids and be a mother. And here I have these 2 kids. You know, she's 2 years old. Christopher was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I couldn't take care of them. So that was the point where everything changed. I quit my job. I quit everything. I quit smoking, and I quit eating everything that I thought was an allergen. And I slowly saw progress. The first thing that I noticed was that the fog lifted. I was able to see clearly and hold my thoughts, at least one at a time, which was a really big deal for me. So I want to get to the Epstein-Barr, and I don't want to be taking up all of your time, so I want to get to the point. 2011, I had a big setback. I had been walking, and I was happy that I was walking, even though I had all of these other symptoms. I thought, all right, well, at least I'm walking and I could do this. My husband left. It was one of those things where I came home to a note, and he said, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. So good luck raising the kids. And by the way, I needed money for my new apartment, so I cleaned out the bank account. So I had to make a choice. I said, all right, well, either this is going to set me back, or I'm going to find the strength to do it. So I got up and I did it, and I kept going. Then 2015, we're fast forwarding through all the drama. That's a whole nother video, but I got through it. I saved the house. The house was in foreclosure. I got through it. That's a good story, another time. So by 2015, here I am. I'm making it through. Life is almost excruciating, because yes, I'm walking and things are getting better, but I still put my kids in their pajamas for dinner, because I know right at dinner things are going to go down and I'm going to get exhausted, and I might not be able to make it to bedtime. It was just all systems down. The leg would start tingling and everything would just start shutting down. So by 2015, I'm like, all right, I'm doing it, but it was slow go. Now, when I started this healing process, the first thing that I did, we're backing up now to when Julie fell, and I'm like, that's it, I got to do something. When I started, I didn't have, first of all, I didn't have any insurance, because I quit smoking, I quit my job, I quit the medication, which I do not recommend doing that cold turkey, because don't do that. That was awful. That was awful. But what I did was I eliminated everything that I thought could be an allergen. Wheat, gluten, corn, dairy, soy. I eliminated everything. I felt like there was something in my body that I needed to kill. I was not born like this. Something was in me that was making me sick. And everyone that I brought that up to said, no, you're crazy. It's MS. It's a disease. Your body's attacking itself. Now, religious or not, it doesn't matter. Whoever you believe created our body did not put a system in place where if you happen to do the wrong thing in life, your body is going to attack itself. That's not actually what's happening. But I couldn't get anybody to listen to me. So I thought, all right, I'm just going to do this on my own and not talk about it. So I treated myself as if I had a bacteria, a fungus, or a virus. And I just tried to eradicate everything from my body. So we're fast forwarding again. I saw progress. Again, I was walking. I didn't have any paralysis, but I had all the other symptoms that was making life really hard, especially being a single parent with 2 young kids and little to no money. So this is able to be done with little to no money, because everything you need is in the grocery store. So back to my intuition. I knew something was inside of my body. 2015, the medical medium puts out his first book, and he talks about multiple sclerosis being caused by the Epstein-Barr virus. And I'm like, are you kidding me? As I read the different stages of Epstein-Barr, everything, all the symptoms that it caused, it was as if he was talking about my childhood from the time I can remember having the lightning strikes happen in my stomach that would take me down to my knees. And my mother would say, oh, that's so weird. And I'd go to the doctor and I'd tell him and he'd say, well, that's really weird. No one could tell me what that was. That's when it started. So reading the medical medium book 2015, I was on a mission to get rid of the rest of my symptoms. And I did. Now, back to when I was paralyzed and laying in bed, I promised God that if I found the answer and I was able to heal myself, that I would spend the rest of my life helping other people get this information and do the same thing for themselves. So that's my goal. That's why I do this. So that's a little bit of background on me and why I do what I do. One day I'll do the whole story if you want to hear it. But right now, we're going to talk about the Epstein-Barr virus and all the different stages, because there are 60 different strains of the Epstein-Barr virus, 60 different strains, and they put them into 5 groups. All of those strains have different stages that it goes through. It's a very smart virus, and I'm going to try to stick to the outline that I made here. So, stage 1. Stage 1, the virus is dormant. It's floating around inside of your body, slowly replicating itself. It's waiting for an opportunity to attack. In this stage, it can be killed. In this stage, it's very weak. It's just starting to replicate itself, and it can be killed. This is the stage that I believe my daughter is in, because we can pass it through the birth canal. That's how this virus spreads so quickly and easily to everybody. So my daughter with the acne, I knew that that was the Epstein-Barr virus. So it was her decision. I said, listen, this is what worked for me. Do you want to do the gluten? Do you want to do the dairy? And she said, yes. And so, and she's 12. I mean, she wasn't a baby, but she's 12 now. And we started doing the gluten-free and the dairy-free and everything we could to kill the virus, including all the supplements that I take, which we'll do probably next week's live. And her skin started to clear up. So there's good news. If you do have the virus, and I think it's like 85% of people in this world, on this planet, have the virus, so it's very likely. If you catch it in stage 1, you can easily kill it. All right, so it could take weeks, months, decades, or longer to reach stage 2. It might never even reach stage 2, right? It might just stay there. When it reaches stage 2, this is when it's most contagious. Stage 2 is when your immune system attacks the virus and tags it. It tags it with a hormone, labeling it an invader. Everyone is different and all the strains are different. So again, keep that in mind. Now, when you're in stage 2, this is when you normally get diagnosed with mono, because you get all those symptoms that lead you to go to the doctor, or in my case, the hospital. When I was in middle school, I was in the hospital twice. Once with the diagnosed mono. The second time, they said my white blood count was so high, they didn't understand why. My spleen was enlarged, and they diagnosed me with hepatitis, but they couldn't tell me why. So, when it's in stage 2, it could be that bad, and then you get your diagnosis. But when it's in stage 2, mono to you could just be a scratchy throat, and you're tired for a week, maybe you have a runny nose, and you think it's the common cold. So you don't go to the doctor, and you don't get diagnosed. This stage is where it takes up, it's a long time residence. I took notes, so I would stay on track this time. This is where it finds a place to take up residence. Now, remember my enlarged spleen? That's where mine took up residence. The spleen, the liver, those organs, they're the ones that accumulate the heavy metals that we accumulate just by living regular life, drinking out of cans, you know, our tap water. We get heavy metals every day. It's just common, and our bodies can handle it. It can. We have that normal detox system that is built in our bodies. We don't have to worry about that. But that's where the Epstein-Barr virus loves to live, because that's what it feeds on. So there's a cofactor of the Epstein-Barr virus. So here you are, you either get the mononucleosis diagnosis or you don't, but it's in your body, it takes up residence in your liver. Now, the cofactor to EBV, they call it like the best friend, is strep. If you have dealt with strep throat your entire life, that's another sign that you probably have the Epstein-Barr virus. Now, strep throat is really interesting. It's the streptococcus virus, it's the cofactor of EBV. That stems from where EBV lives in your liver. It either travels up, which is the strep throat, or it travels down, which is like the lifetime of UTIs that people get, the kidney problems, the bladder issues. So that's the strep traveling down. Now, that was me. That was my middle school experience. I was homeschooled most of the time. And so then I get over it probably within a year. The doctor said, you're good, you're healthy, you got over it. And I'm thinking, I'm still exhausted. This shouldn't be. I'm 13 years old. I should have all of this. Oh, hi, Angela. I'm sorry. I got so caught up. I didn't read the comments. Okay. Yeah. Go back to the beginning. This will be recorded. So if you're on now, that's great. Awesome. And then if you want to catch up, it will be recorded. Don't worry. So where were we? So stage 2, right? You either get diagnosed with mono or you don't. Stage 3, it's found its home and it's very comfortable and it's hiding from your immune system in stage 3. And this is the point where the doctor says, you have been cleared, you're healthy, no more mono, no more Epstein-Barr. But guess what? The Epstein-Barr virus is just getting started, but it's not in your bloodstream, which is why they can't detect it anymore. They can only detect the antibodies. So stage 3, it's comfortable in an organ. It's undetectable now. Doctors can only see the antibody. Sorry, I said that already. It's not going to show up in blood tests. Your immune system thinks it's won the war, and it could be dormant like this for years, depending on the strain. Again, some people just live here and it never goes on the attack. It just lives in your organs, well fed on those heavy metals, excreting waste matter. Now, every virus eats and excretes waste. It goes to the bathroom. It's an organism. It eats and it goes to the bathroom. Hi, Amber. How are you? So that waste matter gets all throughout our system. That waste matter looks like something called spirochetes. They call it that because of its spiral shape, right? The Lyme disease, the Lyme virus, is actually, it's called the same thing, a spirochete. It looks exactly the same. It's that spiral little doodad that sticks into your body. And that's why MS and Lyme disease is often, it goes like, there's a lot of misdiagnoses, you know what I'm trying to say. So, okay, so Lyme disease, if you've been following the news, they just deemed that viral and not bacterial. So you'll read that. They used to give you round after round of antibiotics to kill Lyme disease, and it wasn't working. They finally admitted it's viral. So, not only does the Epstein-Barr virus go to the bathroom all the time and create this waste in your system, but it also secretes a special toxin with the sole intent of confusing your immune system and preventing it from zeroing in on the virus itself, which is why your immune system is constantly on the attack, which is why you are constantly exhausted. Because even though the doctors don't see anything going on in your bloodstream, because that's all they test for is the blood, your immune system is constantly fighting because you've got this virus inside your body, not only giving off the waste, but it's also secreting that toxin that confuses the shit out of your immune system. So if you have an aggressive form, which I did, it slows down your liver because your liver is constantly trying to push this out, and it's dealing with all the other toxins that you come in contact with in the world. A sluggish liver. So what happens there? Lowers your stomach's hydrochloric acid, which turns your intestinal tract toxic. So what happens there? When your intestinal tract is toxic, you don't digest your food. The food begins to putrefy. And that's what happens when you get these unexplained food allergies. It's because the virus is putrefying your food and turning it into a molecular structure that your immune system doesn't recognize. So it starts attacking it. And when you get tested for these food allergies, that's what they see. They see the antibodies to that food because the molecular structure is changed, but not 100%. So the test will recognize it and say, oh, you have this food allergy or you have that food allergy. When really it's all the Epstein-Barr. So I already talked about that. All right, so this aggressive strain now, right? It's biding its time until it senses. It can lie dormant, like I said, for so long, but it also senses when you're stressed. How? You release a stress hormone. So the Epstein-Barr virus loves hormones. It feeds on them, especially the stress ones, because it turns your body acidic, right? So putrefying, is that causing gastro? I don't know that word, but I'm thinking putrefying. Yes, it causes, if this is what you're asking, crazy gas that smells really bad. Your gas that comes out, okay, just say your farts should not smell that bad. They really shouldn't. Yeah, it's air coming out. It's not going to smell very pleasant, but you know when air comes out of you and you're like horrified, that's when you know this is when the food is putrefying inside. Angelica, how are you doing? Is this when there's an overgrowth of bacteria and candida in our guts? That is another thing, but yes, it can contribute to it because the body is so acidic, right? And we keep eating all these sugar-rich foods, and candida is a yeast. So the more sugar we eat, the more yeast that grows. And we need a mixture of good bacteria, bad bacteria, and a little bit of yeast. So yeah, that candida overgrowth, the EBV is definitely contributing to that, but again, that's a contributor. That's a whole nother issue. The yeast issue inside of our bodies, that requires a lot of exactly, Angelica, what you're doing. Bringing everything back into balance, because if you have so much bad bacteria and very little good bacteria, then your body is not digesting the food and you're not even absorbing the food that you're eating. Great question. Vicky, is this slowing up digestion? Exactly. They give names to these things based on what it does to the body, right? It slows the digestion. Okay, but I want to know from the doctor, what is causing it? Why don't you name a disease based on what causes it rather than the set of symptoms that it produces? Excellent point. So where are we now? I'll stay on track. Yeah. Okay. So when the virus is ready to attack, it begins excreting that neurotoxin, right? That confuses the immune system and doesn't know what to attack, where is this coming from? Because it's not going to attack the virus now because of that like fog that it's releasing. This adds to the burden of your system already created by the Epstein-Barr's byproduct, the waste that we talked about before. So while your immune system is in complete disarray and doesn't know what to attack and what doesn't attack, your body, Epstein-Barr, goes on the attack because it knows your immune system is thoroughly attacked and it has its chance. Now, remember when I told you that my symptoms got significantly worse after I had Julie? I got diagnosed right after I had Christopher, and my symptoms got significantly worse right after I had Julie. And the reason is because of those hormones. The Epstein-Barr virus feeds on the hormones. And what happens is it's pregnancy. We'll start first, it's puberty, then it's pregnancy, and then it's menopause. So a little side note here, a good test, we're going to go through this together actually. I haven't said this on any of the videos yet, but I'm 43 years old and I have 2 kids. And I am remarried to the love of my life, Kevin, last 3 years. And we have decided to go through IVF because we can't do it at this age on our own. We tried to have a baby. Yes, I'm nervous. And yes, all of those hormones and IVF drugs that they have to put me through will be the first time that I've ever put drugs in my body since beta-serone. All these extra hormones. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to go through it together, and I'm going to keep you guys informed of what I'm doing. I am nervous, but I'm also doing all of these extra things, and I feel like I'm armed with all of this information. So if I do start experiencing symptoms, I know what to do. So again, we're going to do it together. All right, so that's stage 3, right? So that's when we're experiencing all of these symptoms. Then there's also stage 4. So stage 4 is when the Epstein-Barr virus, Holly, thank you so much. She said, congratulations, thank you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. 43, having another one. He doesn't have any kids, by the way. He doesn't have any kids. And I love this man so much that I cannot imagine him going through life not being a father. And him and his ex-wife tried for years and it couldn't happen. So I'm like, here we go. I did this. I did 2 kids. I did MS. And now at 43, let's do it again. So, whew, I felt good announcing it though. So, all right, so stage 4. So we talked about stage 3. The Epstein-Barr has its home and it's wreaking havoc on your immune system. Now it goes into stage 4. And again, it might not ever go into stage 4, but we know that it does. For us, it did. So Epstein-Barr makes a run for it. Its ultimate goal, the virus's ultimate goal, is to ride your nerves to wherever it wants to go. You are not wireless. All of your organs all have nerves attached to them. So your nervous system is like the highway for the Epstein-Barr virus to get to where it wants to go. Oh, you know what? I'm making a run for the thyroid. I'm going to go attack the shit out of the thyroid and see what I could eat there. You know what that is? Hyperthyroidism. Hypo, any thyroid condition. It's the Epstein-Barr virus in the thyroid. My sister can tell you that because she has thyroidism. Hypo. No. Yes, hypo. She's tired. Not hyper. It's definitely not hyper. Thyroid issues. Fibromyalgia. Rheumatoid arthritis. This is all the Epstein-Barr virus. It hides. It inflames the nervous system, right? It rides your nerves, inflames the shit out of everything, and then finds a home to reside in. I think mine is in my liver. Okay, so I printed out this little thing to read to you because I found this very interesting. Oh, Tina, thank you so much. Thank you. I have been dealing with, I told you strep throat is a cofactor of the Epstein-Barr virus. I have been dealing with strep throat my entire life since I was a kid. Anytime I got tired, I would get strep throat. It's like I couldn't get tired without getting a strep throat. So when strep is in your body, and I printed this out so I don't mess it up. When strep is in your body, it can move from the liver to your lymphatic system. Listen to this. This is huge. Your body may be able to keep the strep under control for the most part, but there might be times when the bacteria reaches the derma and works underneath it, the derma, the layer, the skin layer, and works underneath it, which can lead to cystic acne. For this reason, if you continuously run yourself down by making unproductive food choices, leading a stressful lifestyle, lacking self-care practices, your immune system will have a difficult time managing any chronic strep in the lymphatic system. Because of this, strep is more likely to push through the surface of the derma. And I have noticed, Angela, thank you so much. I will keep you all posted. It feels actually really good to tell everybody. So thank you. Strep throat, that virus, it is the Epstein-Barr virus, it's a cofactor. I can't really explain what a cofactor is very well. But when that's in your body, that's what comes up through the skin. That's what psoriasis, eczema. When I was sick, when I was really sick, when I was paralyzed, I looked like Jesus Christ himself. I had all of the psoriasis through here. It looked like I had nail holes punched through like it could go right through. It was so raw. It was all over me. Once I went gluten-free, once I stopped feeding the virus. Now, I don't know why I skipped or where I skipped. I don't know. But I wanted to tell you that the virus has a 6-week life cycle. And if you think about anyone, and I know a lot of people here have detoxed off of gluten, it takes 6 weeks. So I'm going to get to that in a second. I wanted to read you the rosacea. Yes, rosacea too. It's pushing through the dermal layer. That's the inflammation. Hi, Corsi. I saw that you're on. How are you? All right. So the Mayo Clinic's definition of MS. Now that you know about Epstein-Barr, listen to this. MS is resulting nerve damage that disrupts communication between the brain and the body. MS causes many different symptoms, including vision loss, pain, fatigue, and impaired coordination. The symptoms, severity, and duration can vary from person to person. Some people may be symptom-free for most of their lives, while other people can have chronic symptoms that never go away. It's as if they're describing what the Epstein-Barr virus is. but yet this is the MS definition. All right. So what I also wanted to tell you is that the EBV virus, I should just start saying EBV, has a 6-week lifespan, right? So it eats, it thrives, 6 weeks later, it dies. But what happens is it keeps going, right? It's throughout your entire body. So am I healed? Yes, of my symptoms. I don't have any symptoms. But am I healed of MS? Am I healed of the Epstein-Barr virus? No, it's in me. I know it's in me. I don't think I can ever get rid of it. And I know if I ever eat gluten, I know I'm down for 6 weeks. And I never knew that Epstein-Barr had a 6-week life cycle. So that's why it's not actually the gluten or the wheat or the dairy or the corn or the eggs that's making us sick. It's the Epstein-Barr virus feeding on those foods, strengthening itself, replicating itself, and it's an ongoing cycle because you keep feeding the virus. So that's how you're going to get rid of your symptoms. That's how you're going to be able to heal everything in your body. Stop feeding the virus. The virus needs to die, right? So step 1 is starve the virus. Don't give it any food. Think about it. If you were to, kill anything, what are you going to do? You're going to starve it first. Not that anyone's ever thought about killing anybody or anything. But if you were, the first thing you do is you want to starve the fucker. Sorry for the ones who don't like to curse. I try to. Anyway, so you starve it. You don't give it the eggs. Eggs are the number 1 thing that viruses need to survive. If you think about it, think about all the vaccinations out there. If you have an egg allergy, they say you can't get vaccinated with the normal vaccine. Why? Because eggs are in the vials of vaccines to keep the virus alive. Starve the Epstein-Barr virus. Don't feed it eggs. Don't feed it gluten. Don't feed it dairy. A couple other things like corn too. There's a whole list of things, but those are the 3 main things. Do not touch. Step 2, while you're killing it, step 2 is strengthen your immune system. Flood your immune system so it's as strong as possible. I tell my kids, if you're fighting an army, are you going to send the people out there with guns and no bullets? No, that's what I told them when they were really little. You got to give them bullets because we're common bacteria and viruses all the time, and yet you're sending your fighters out there with no bullets. So kill the virus by starving it. Strengthen your immune system by flooding your body with antioxidants, right? So you got those 2 things. But the third thing is really important. It's just as important as those other 2 things. You have to detox the corpse out of your body because that viral corpse, now that you're killing it, right? It's dying. It's floating around in your body as a toxin and it's stressing out your immune system, confusing the shit out of it because it's like now we're dealing with the overload of corpses. So you have to get that out. So that's where I wanted to talk about detoxing using your liver in the first video, because you always have to be detoxing that out. So I use the lemon water in the morning. I don't eat protein, carbohydrates, or fat until lunch, and I don't eat meat until dinner. So I'm utilizing my body's natural detox system every single day to get it out, first thing every day. But in addition to that, I also fast every 3 months. If I'm good, maybe it's 4 months. But regularly, I've been regularly detoxing since 2015. That's the part I skipped over. Yeah, 2016, I started learning how to detox my body. So I've gotten it down to a science now, and every 3 months, I will go 2 days without eating any food. Now, you think, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm going to be dizzy. No, actually, what you do is you still drink. I use isogenics, but I don't use that all the time because ever since learning about the medical medium, he does the cleanses with the celery juice, the blueberry juice, apple, and there's one other one that I don't remember because I don't use it, but it's in that Cleanse to Heal book. I do that for 2 days. What that does is it flushes everything out of my body. So I still deal with acne around my body. It's not terrible, but it's still there. And I notice that things aren't healing, right? So when I notice that I've stopped healing, I do a cleanse. And after that 2-day cleanse, not only do I feel amazing, but I notice like everything on my skin has started to heal and like it jump started everything. So if you want to learn more about the effects of fasting, go Google autophagy. Just learned how to say that word easily. Autophagy. Google that word, because what fasting does is it gets your body into this place of it's like a switch that flips where everything starts to heal and everything gets rejuvenated. So research that, do some reading on that. That's what I do every 3 months, 2 days, no food. Every now and then, if I feel like I've eaten like crap for a really long time, and by crap, I don't mean gluten. I'll never touch that. I just mean like a lot of sugar. I'll do a 1-day detox just to give my liver a break and extra detoxing. So back to killing the virus. You got to kill the virus by starving it, strengthening your immune system, and detoxing the corpse out of your body. Those 3 things are what you have to balance. What we're going to talk about next week, I think it's time to talk about supplements. And since it's not going to be a huge one because I don't take a lot of supplements, I rely on food. We're also going to talk about coffee. Yes, it's good for you. And yes, you can drink it. There's a couple things that you need to know to make it good for you. So it's not so toxic. It's not toxic at all, actually. And then we're going to be talking about fats, the healthy fats, because one of my supplements is monolaurin. Holly, I have you to thank for that. Oh, autophagy. Can I spell it? Hold on, I'm writing it. Autophagy. I think it's AUTOPHAGY. AUTOPHAGY. And I will look that up just to make sure, but I think that's how you spell it. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. So if you're new here and you're just watching this and you haven't seen my other lives, scroll down in the group, start with the liver. Start with the liver one, the first one that I did. And I'm laughing because my daughter pointed out that I have a cream-colored sweater addiction, apparently. And every video I do, I have a cream-colored sweater on. So I was just going to say I'm wearing a white sweater. Anyway, scroll down, watch the liver one first, learn how to utilize your liver every single day to get those toxins out. The second one was on being gluten-free and how to do that easily, because once you stop feeding the virus, it's going to start dying and your symptoms are going to start lessening and your body's going to come back into balance. Yes, it's the gluten, it's the eggs. I don't go near eggs. And dairy, I didn't start eliminating dairy completely until later, but just know that that feeds the virus. So we did the liver, we did the gluten-free, and now we're doing the Epstein-Barr. Next week, I want to take you into the supplements and the good, healthy fats. Because yes, fat is good. Yes, you need it, but you don't need as much as they say you do. Because fat is what prevents your liver from pushing everything out. It kind of like gunks it up. So I'm not saying at all by any means that you have to give up fats and do this and do that. Anything that you do for your body is going to be wonderful. And I'm also want to be clear that I'm not saying that if you start this, you're going to feel better and your symptoms are going to go away right away. Like I said, yes, it did take me this long to get to this point, but I didn't have this information. I didn't have the medical medium information, and I didn't have 10 years under my belt of being my own guinea pig of what worked and what didn't work. So it is a journey. I don't want to make it sound easy because it's not. And there's a couple people on here right now who will tell you it's not easy. What's an ideal food list, meal routine for a day? Amber, I am so glad you asked. You know what? It's funny. It sounds like I asked you to ask that question because that's a perfect question. That's why last week, the gluten-free, there was so much information in there that I wrote it all out. So it's step by step and it has a plan of what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for lunch? What should I eat for dinner? So this way you have a guide to follow and then you fill in with your foods. So Amber, just message me, just remind me to email that to you. And if anyone else wants it, message me with your email address or send me an email at gethealthy@mindingyoursoul.com. I think I covered everything. I hope I didn't go too far. And I want to write all this up. I mean, I have all my notes here, but I want to write this up to make sure that I got everything for you guys. Eventually, I want to do this full time. I don't want to be working my full-time job and then coming home and doing this and just like giving little tiny tidbits. Eventually, I want to be coaching people full-time so that I can give my full attention and give them the full transformation of that healing and that attention that I want to give. So got a couple more months left of my job before I leave in the summer, and then hopefully I'm going to start coaching from there. Not yet though, not yet. I got a lot on my plate right now. You sent me all that in the email. Angela, you are the first person that I actually emailed that to. I think it's the same version. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it's a Word document. I didn't make it a PDF, but it's the same thing. So I'll check. But yeah, you're the first and the only person that I emailed that to. So you do have that. All right, listen, if anyone's watching this on the replay and you have questions, stick it in the comments and I will keep up with those responses. And please email me or message me directly if you have any questions, anything that you're struggling with that you want me to create content around that will help you get you to the next level. I'm always looking for stuff that's going to make the members of the group feel like they can move forward faster and easier. I wish, oh, you're welcome, Angela. Thank you. I wish I had me 10 years ago when I was laying in that bed. I wish I had someone to say, hey, this is it. You know, this is what's causing your symptoms. Do this, try this. And so because I didn't have that person, I wanted to become her. So that's what I'm in the process of becoming, that person who can get you on the journey. I'm not saying that I can heal you, because only you can do that. Only you can do all of that work. But what I can do is guide you to the information and guide you to all the different healing modalities that helped me, that I know will help you too. Okay, how'd we do? I think we're at 45 minutes. That's not too bad. All right, everyone, it was really great to see you. Thank you to everyone who showed up, who's asking questions. Every time I get off of these things, like when I'm done with this, I'm like, why was I nervous? This was great. It's just like having like a normal conversation. Oh, Amber, yeah, I hated my neuro too. You guys want to hear something funny? So I stopped going to my neurologist when I stopped the medication. And by the time I went back to him, I was walking and I was 100 pounds lighter. Last time I had seen him, I was 200 and something pounds. And the reason why I say something, because I don't know. I threw the scale out when it said 200 pounds. I'm like, it's obviously broken. And so anyway, I walked back into his office and he goes, Janine? And I said, yeah, Dr. Ravel, it's me. Thinking he was going to be, oh my goodness, I can't believe, what did you do? We have to tell everybody about this. Yeah, no, he goes, you are the stupid, well, first he said, what are you doing? So I told him everything that I was doing. I told him everything that I had learned. And again, expecting him to go, oh my goodness, we need to publish this information. He goes, you are the stupidest patient I have ever met. And it was just, the wind was taken out of my sails. I know what you mean about neurologists. They don't want to hear anything about it. They don't recognize it, and that's okay. I have learned over the years, a lot of people are not going to, this information isn't going to resonate with them. They're going to be angry when they hear it. They don't want to believe anything different than what they currently believe. And that's fine. They're on their own journey. But for the people like us who feel something is in our body that's not supposed to be, and I can kill it and I can get it out of my body and my body can heal. It's not attacking itself. That's who this group is for. So I get it. I hate my neurologist too. And I'm hoping one day to meet somebody where they say, oh, I love my neurologist. He listens to everything that I say. And I'd really love to get him on one of our Zooms. I fired mine. He's a huge ass. Yeah, you can say it. Just say it. ASS. I could still get very angry. But then I remember, they went to medical school, right? They went to medical school, a lot of it too, because they're neurologists, so they did even more than the medical doctor. They don't want to be told that what they've been telling patients for decades is wrong. They don't want to be told that they are essentially useless because we can heal ourselves with our food. They were trained, oh wow, huge ass, yeah, exactly, yeah, stupid, right? Like that's just poor bedside manner. They were trained a certain way, and that's how they know how to help people. So if you look at it that way, they're looking to help people in the way that they know how. They don't understand about nutrition because they think they get something ridiculous like 2 hours of nutrition education in school. So of course they're going to teach what they know. It's our job to utilize all of our resources. A neurologist is a resource. There's tons of resources in all kinds of medicine, whether it's holistic, whether it's, modern medicine, whatever. There's a place for everything, but you have to follow what you know to be true about your body and what it's capable of. And I'm here to help you every freaking step of the way. I will help you. All right, I'm just going to keep going on. And I would love to. I wish we were all sitting together having coffee. All right, I'm going to get off. We'll do it again next Wednesday where we'll talk about fats and coffee and everything else. And who knows, maybe somebody else will have a better topic. Angela, I had the same with my allergist, and my doctor told me I was crazy for taking it to a chiropractor. Oh yeah, they don't like chiropractors at all. Chiropractor actually was the one that I went to when my leg went numb. He's the one who sent me to a neurologist. Kayleen, hi, how are you? Honestly, that's my neurologist. He told me I could try Terry Walls because he has another patient with MS who has healed. See, I was waiting to hear something like this. Wait, I'm hitting the see more button. Who has healed through that diet and recommend really looking into it. And supplements, he said, it's my body and my choice. He's great. Okay, we need his name and number, if you wouldn't mind. Like, where is he? Can I have a conversation with him? Everyone's doing Zoom these days, so it really doesn't matter where you're located. That would be awesome. And that's what I love about this group, right? I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. I just know what I know from what I did. But everybody in this group and everyone coming into this group and everybody that we meet outside of Facebook, they all have a piece of the puzzle. We just need to put our own puzzle together by learning about all the different pieces out there and then learning and extracting those pieces that work for us. So we're only going to learn by strengthening our community, by talking to other people and not getting angry when they don't want to do what we're doing. That's fine. That's their journey. But what can we learn from everybody? And how can we learn from everybody here? Look what we just learned. There's a good neurologist out there. I want to talk to him. Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right. All right, everyone. You have a great night. I love Wednesdays. I love talking to you. And I will see you next Wednesday. Bye. I don't know how to end this. Hold on. Here we go. There's got to be a button. Oh, finish right here. Okay.